Kia ora, good evening. The country's current lamb count is the second smallest in nearly 60 years, with lambs tailed across New Zealand down 4.7% compared with last spring. Beef and Lamb New Zealand's Lamb Crop 2013 report confirms 25.5 million lambs were tailed, 1.3 million fewer than 2012. In the South Island, lamb crops are down 2.3%, while in the north numbers are down 7.4%. The lower lamb crop impacts on export processing numbers, which are expected to drop to 19.5 million head, making the 2013 to 14 year the third lowest export lamb total since 1960. Export lamb slaughter weights is expected to increase 2.3% due to low stock rates and more available feed. A proposed settlement in a new kindergarten collective has been reached that would see teachers retain parity with their primary colleagues and a new allowance for head teachers. NZEI, Te Rui Roa and the Ministry of Education reached the proposed settlement following lengthy negotiations with the Ministry, insisting kindergarten teachers could have parity or the allowance, but not both. The turnaround came following a rally outside Education Minister Hekia Parata's office in Porirua recently. NZEI have been asking for 10 years for head teachers to receive a small additional allowance and say the commitment of 1,500 kindergarten teachers made the difference between gaining both pay parity and the head teacher allowance. It was a special day that was celebrated with a visit from Santa, an indoor picnic and a swag of employee awards at Southland Disability Enterprises today. A surprise visit from Father Christmas and Lolly Scramble kicked off the year-end celebrations before the annual awards ceremony got underway. Several workers were awarded for their efforts over 2013, with Kim Small being awarded the X Factor trophy. Nikki Corkery was named the Quiet Achiever. Vicky Major won the Aptitude Cup, and Employee of the Year was shared between Greg Duncan and Trish Cleghorn.
It's a chance for us to acknowledge and tell them how much we value them, and giving a personal check to them as well just means that it just makes others strive a little bit harder. And I think it's really important that we acknowledge that without them we wouldn't be here.
Wrapping up the year's end, manager Ian Becker says things are looking bright for next year.
We've finished the year more positive than we did at the start of the year. We've processed thousands of tonnes of product. Bringing community groups in is helping us to get over the peak periods. Prices have just moved in the last month on the commodity prices. Possibly we don't know the impact of the higher dollar, but overall I'd say that 2013 is a good year to be behind, and we're looking forward to 2014.
So these community groups that you have coming in, you're expecting you'll see more of them come through and use this as a fundraising option?
Very much so, but we're also making up another list of those who say they will and then don't turn up, and they won't get another bite of the cherry. We need people to commit and come in and do it. And it's a lot of cheese rolls that they don't have to be making if they want to come in and earn $2,000.
Coming into a very busy time of the year with recycling for bottles and particularly wrapping paper, any thoughts on how people can help you guys out here?
Yeah, any small bits, don't put them out. We can't recover them. So if they're smaller than an envelope, please put it in your red bin. For the paper, for the bottles, take your caps off, put them in the red bin, and drink plastic.
The Yarra Street Queens Drive intersection will be closed temporarily over the next few days so contractors can chip seal the gravel surface ahead of asphalting in January. Traffic is being kept off the gravel surface during the final stage of surface shaping and compaction. The closure's weather dependent, but at this stage the waterproofing layer will be installed on Friday if it's dry. Closing from 6 p.m. tonight overnight and reopening at 7 a.m. for a short time, the intersection will be reopened to traffic on Friday afternoon. Christmas wishes from Clutha Southland MP Bill English for the people of the province, followed by Gore Mayor Tracy Hicks.
Well, it's been a better year in the south. There's a lot of good things have happened, and Christmas is a time where we can spend time with our families, look back on the year and celebrate what we've achieved and have a bit of a break, because next year is going to be quite a challenge, but I reckon we're up to it. So Merry Christmas everybody.
Well, from Magor District, it's a wonderful Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everyone in the viewing area. We just hope that you do take the time and the opportunity to spend more time with your family. That Christmas is a special time, and we just can't let those go by too easily. So spend that time, enjoy them, but also have a little bit of a look around our community and around our province. Lots of things to see at this time of the year, and I know you'll enjoy it. But have a wonderful holiday and look forward to seeing you in 2014.
Tui Award nominees and popular local folk duo Into the East are performing at a special fundraising concert tomorrow evening. The group has been nominated for the Best Folk Album category, the 2014 Vodafone New Zealand Music Awards. It's expected they'll need to raise around $3,000 to get themselves and two support musicians up to Auckland for the awards in January. The duo will be playing at the First Church on Tay Street from 7 p.m. Singer-songwriter Liv McBride says the duo will be playing a selection from their nominated album, Fight from the Inside. Tonight's Carol by Candlelight service to be held at Queen's Park has been postponed due to weather until tomorrow night, but could be cancelled this year if tomorrow's weather proves unsuitable. Do stay with us. Up after the break, Invercargill Mayor Tim Shadbolt wraps up his year. Welcome back. Invercargill Mayor Tim Shadbolt says it's been a great year for the city with good news from the census and an interim resolution to the dispute over the Tiwai Point aluminium smelter. Hunter Andrews asked Mr Shadbolt about the smelter and other key issues for 2013.
That was the real crunch time for the South, and in total 3,000 jobs were under threat, and we really had to come through that one on a positive note. Thanks to the government we did. We felt a bit guilty about 30 million, but when you think they put 36 million into the America's Cup, we didn't feel quite so bad about it.
What did you feel your role was there, obviously as a community leader, but what impact did you feel that you could have on the situation?
Well, it's always a difficult relationship between central government and local government, and so you can't go out and be the aggressor because we just haven't got the legislative power to be able to do that. So you've got to be diplomatic, you've got to be friendly, you've got to present your arguments in a very rational way, and you've got to take every opportunity to discuss the issue with Bill English in particular and the Prime Minister. And yes, I was engaged in all those activities.
I don't want to dwell too much on Tiwai, but what plans were there, or possible contingency plans had it closed?
Well, that was one of the positive surprises, I suppose, of this whole sort of threatening situation we found ourselves in, is that ideas poured in from all over the world of alternatives. Apparently, if you've got cheap electricity, there are a lot of opportunities out there. So I don't necessarily think in the long term it will be the end of the world if the smelter closes for Invercargill.
So, and inevitably it will. I mean, that day will come sooner or later. So you believe there will be new jobs for those made unemployed?
Well, we're already working on that plan B, if you like, but you never know. I mean, smelters can have a very long lifetime. It depends on the world markets. It depends on the value of the New Zealand dollar. There's a lot of ifs and buts, and who knows, it could be here potentially for another 20 or 30 years.
Now, the next big issue is the Auckland to Bluff yacht race, of course. It's not going to take place or this year, or as expected it would at the end of this year into next year. Do you see this as a failure? And why are you pursuing it so doggedly? And is that the last money we'll see going towards it?
Yes, this is a last gasp effort to try and enrol the yachties and try and generate interest in the yachting fraternity. I guess we had focused a lot on where we're going to put them, and that's what everybody said to us. If you get 30 yachts sailing into the harbour, where on earth are you going to moor them? And we've spent a lot of time and effort working out a harbour plan, safety plans. There's all sorts of regulations associated with ocean racing. It's a dangerous sport, and we focused on those areas. It hasn't happened yet. It's been postponed, but I don't think there's any question that events are good for communities, especially isolated communities like ours. We've seen that with the Burt Munro Challenge, but you're not always going to be backing a winner.
But this is going to be ongoing into next year, and do you have an idea in your head, looking 10 years ahead, how big that race could be? Is that what you're looking forward to see those huge amounts of people on dock welcoming those boats?
Yes, well, it wasn't an original idea. We've looked at exactly what happened in Sydney and Hobart. We sent people over from Venture Southland to check it out, and there was no doubt there are huge benefits if you can get a yacht race like this off the ground. But it's a tough call, especially down here in the southern oceans, which have got a fearsome reputation in the yachting fraternity. So it was a long shot, a bit like the international airport, but nonetheless, people always admire you for having a go, and no one will ever be 100% successful when it comes to events.
No, we haven't got a lot of time to go in depth into everything, but I guess the next thing will be the inner city upgrade, which is indeed controversial. And do you think that sign-off for the master plan came a bit too close to the local body elections?
Most definitely. It just got caught up, and it's always difficult to go in and try and bat positively on a very negative wicket. And election times are times when contenders want to knock down what's happening, and fair enough, that's what the electoral process is all about. But it does make it hard for positive projects. But I think we'll definitely get the airport terminal off the ground. That's going full steam ahead at the moment. And I think we're going to see a lot of improvements around the city in general. There's a lot more building consents for inner city commercial buildings. So, and the private sector could be the ones who lead us in 2014, even in terms of museums. Who knows?
Graham Sycamore said that with these new powers, and do you feel empowered with new mayoral powers post-election? Because he was saying he had little choice to be appointed to the Inner City Steering Committee. Is he right? Do you feel empowered?
There is a degree of executive authority moving towards mayoral positions. I guess you could say we've had a few knockbacks, of course, with situations in Toronto and in Auckland. I mean, even before Len Brown, we had a very naughty mayor, little Johnny Two Checks we call him, who didn't bring the mayoral office into very good repute. And I think mayors will generally claw their way back from that, I guess, the negative publicity we've had. And I think in the future they will be expected to play a stronger leadership role rather than just chairing the council.
And that brings us to a close. There's more action from the Condell Sevens up next in sport. From the news team, good evening.